All right, we're talking with one of my favorite, not only agents, but one of my favorite people in the world, Chris Adams. I'm just going to let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who Chris is, where you're at, what you do, uh, family man, all that stuff. Take it away. Tell us who Chris is.
Yeah, so Chris Adams here. I'm from the Twin Cities area, Minneapolis, St. Paul of Minnesota here. And I've known Mark for quite a while now. I've coached with him at a couple different companies that he's been with as well. So we're really got a good relationship going there. And I've been selling real estate for 18 years this year. I started selling right away when I was 18 years old, somehow got lucky. Right after I got done playing my freshman year of hockey at a small D3 college here in Minnesota, and sold my first house, made $4,500, and I've been doing it ever since. So 36 years old right now. It's been quite the journey that I've been on. Mark's helped me actually with a good majority of it, and building my team out too. We started all the way back when I was a single agent. Mark helped me when I was in the process of just trying to get, a team built up. And, first plot we started with was reading The Millionaire Real Estate Agent from Gary Keller. And, I read that book probably 3-4 times, got some real good advice from Mark. And first spot we started, just like the book recommends, is actually starting out with an assistant. So, Mark helped me get my list of questions ready, all that kind of stuff to try to get prepared for the team. Made sure I had a good runway of money for at minimum 3 months, but I think I was more along the lines of 5 or 6 months to make sure that I could afford my assistant, first one that I ended up hiring, which thankfully is still with me today. That's out there. So Mark helped me with that whole process. And then, we kind of just built the team out slowly but surely from there, started hiring buyers agents. And we ended up shifting to a model now where my agents aren't just buyers agents. They are both on the buy and the sell side once they get at least 10 deals under their belt. So the best year that I had personally myself was, I think, 37 deals that I ended up doing by myself. And that was the first year I was hiring my assistant that year. And then, we've been building it out as a team ever since then. So that's kind of my progression here for the last 18 years in the business.
So you started at 18, which is, that's an interesting time to start. Not everybody starts that young. Usually people get into the business after maybe falling out of another business or another career. What got you into real estate at 18?
The biggest thing with me getting into that is, like, I didn't even know we could sell houses at 18, but we had a couple of friends that came home and, over Thanksgiving, Christmas break, they were playing college hockey and they told me they were selling real estate. And I said, well, if them guys are selling real estate, there's no way that I can't. So that's what got me into it. And they told me how much money they were making. And sure enough, went out and got my first deal done. And that's how I ended up landing in the business. And, obviously it's just one of them businesses where you got to be a people person and know people, number one. And number two, you have to be kind of an educator at the same time, where you can help people understand, what this process looks like and why they're buying at certain price points, and really help them out with the three big things they say never to mess with, right? People's money, their family, and where they live. And we're right in the middle of all three of those, right?
Right. Absolutely. So 18 years in the business, like, what are you doing all this for? Like, why, like, what's the big why behind Chris's business? Like, what are you driving to?
The big thing that got me going from the start of this, honestly, my mom and dad, when I was growing up, they were flipping houses, and they were not only flipping houses to, like, make money on, but ones that we lived in, they would work on and fix up and then make some money on, and we were moving. So I always thought it was every 2-3 years. I didn't understand they were doing that for tax benefits that were in there, making sure they were there for at least 2 years. So I kind of seen this growing up. When I was there. And, I tell all the agents on the team, like, I love being there to help people get into the next house. But at the end of the day, it's a great business to be in because we get to set our own schedule, right? That's there. So setting your own schedule, and the amount of money we can make, honestly, in this business, if you work hard and you do the right things for people, at the end of the day, you can make a very successful business for yourself. And those are probably the two primary reasons why I'm in this business.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, that set your own schedule thing for a lot of people is a double-edged sword, right? You can get up in the morning and go sit on the couch and watch TV and then maybe to make a Target run, or you can actually get to work, right? So there's some people that struggle with that. So then you're not one of them. From all my experience with you, you definitely are not one of those people that just sits around and waits for the business to come to them. So here's the question I know everybody loves. So it's 5 years from now. Where is your business?
The biggest thing, and we kind of help set these goals together for myself. And it's been a really good progression for me. So in the business right now, one of the big things that we were working on together was just trying to say, okay, let's really try to focus on the business, right? And working on the business, not just working in the business, doing, like the purchase agreements, going out with the buyers and the sellers. So, you were a big part of helping me transition into just being, having that kind of entrepreneur mindset that's out there, right? And saying, okay, we need to add all these components, right? Like you used to tell me all the time, if you don't have an assistant, you are your assistant, right? That's out there, right? So it's just stuff like that really stuck with me. So we've been working on building the business out. This year we did our first flip, that was out there. I've had a couple rental properties in the past. Thankfully got lucky when I ended up selling them because the market was going up. Really didn't know how to buy them. So over the last probably 4 or 5 years, we've really been working on saying, okay, where do we want the business to be? And how do we build the team out to make sure that I can be working somewhere in that kind of, 15 to 25 hour a week, time frame that we're in. So the nice thing about us right now, we got 5 other agents on the team, and they kind of help out with every single one of my buyers. So I primarily only do the list side of the business. In 5 years from now, I'd really like that to be the point where our agents are kind of running the team, and we've got a residential arm that's kind of built. And then we'd like to kind of transition a little bit as well into a portion where, the agents on our team, if they've been with us long enough, they can start getting involved in some of our flips and, the rental portfolio that we'd like to build out. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. And in 5 years, that's where we'd like to be. And it's just one of them things you got to keep working towards it and kind of planning out what it's going to look like. You got to start doing the Tom Ferry, moving your arms more.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's where business is. What does that mean for your life? Where's your life in 5 years, if that is the model of your business?
Yeah, the best part about this business is there's plenty of aspects where you can choose to be involved in, right? So always planning on selling real estate, in all honesty. I just love being out there. There's still a couple buyers that I work with every single year, right? Just to make sure that the rest of my agents are on my team. I like to be one of them leaders that leads by example, right? I don't want to just say, hey, go do this because that's what I used to do. It's like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. So let's make sure that we're doing that and we can all provide a good lifestyle for ourselves, right? Everybody on the team that's there. I think the biggest thing that we're all striving towards, in 5 years from now, what life likes to be is, for us, is we'd like to have more family time. And honestly, I'd love to have a lot more residual income coming in so we can kind of plan our life the way that, we put down on paper 5 years from that date, right? That's there. So we always like to work towards that. It's something that we do on our team. We create vision boards for every single person on our team. We update that sometimes even 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 times a year, because sometimes the agents on our team, if they have a real good, quarter or half of the year that's out there, first 2 quarters, whatever it happens to be, if they crush a bunch of their goals, 80% of their vision board is taken care of. And then it's like, hey, it's time to update that, right? Like you exceeded your goals. Let's figure out where you're going to go from here, right? So just not continually working on myself, but trying to get everybody else to follow on the same path that I'm on right now.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me about the client experience. Like how does the client experience you, the team? Like what are some of the things that you do maybe more tactically with the client to kind of take them from contract to close, or what happens after the contract? Are you staying in touch with your people, or you just kind of set it and forget it? Like what does the Twin Cities Elite team do to have a positive, client experience?
Yeah, our biggest thing is making sure. So number one, we've got a pretty big checklist, right? And that was, I think, one of the first things you told me to work on. And you said, hey, write down everything that you want to do and everything that you do, right? And from that list, let's figure out what your job description is going to be for your assistant, right? That's in there. So it's like, okay, that's where we started. And we started taking stuff off my plate and saying, okay, now I have more time to focus on, number one, our clients, right? And probably 70, 80% of our business every year is all from repeat and referral clients that we have. So just a couple examples of what we did like this year already. Just about a month ago, actually, we ended up doing our first ever annual golf tournament where we ended up sponsoring we did a local fundraiser for a company, nonprofit that ends up doing for homelessness for youth in the Twin Cities area here. So we ended up partnering up with them saying, hey, we're going to throw, a customer appreciation event. We'll have everybody come in. We ended up getting a lender involved, one of our insurance guys, and we ended up paying for everything. So all the money that we ended up taking in, we could actually donate to that company that was that nonprofit that was there, right? So just things like that we like to do. That's out there. And coming up here in beginning of August, middle of August, one of our favorite places to go to for our client appreciation events is we actually go out to our local horse track and we end up renting out the finish line cabanas, and we can get 60 people in there. So we pay for everybody's ticket in, give them a little bit of money to gamble with, and give them some food as well when they're there, right? So one of the new things that we're going to try this year when we're there is we're going to try to get some video testimonials, which I think you told me to do 5 years ago, and now I'm finally doing it. So it's been on the plan and we're working on it right now. But that's the biggest thing, is just staying in front of these clients and making sure that we're treating them the right way, right? And it all starts with our checklist, really. And one of the biggest things in this business when I first was working on building the team out was saying, geez, I don't know if anybody's going to do business the way I do, but if you write it all down the way you do it and what you expect, and you inspect what you expect from, the agents on your team and your admin and everything else that it's there, it can be a pretty smooth process to make sure that you've got a very repeatable process that's going to hopefully return the same results that you were doing while you were actively, selling and buying.
Yeah, 100%. I love the charitable giving aspect to whether it's a client event or just how you do your business, right? That's something that I've always preached and always kind of put into my business as well, because I feel like, it's the Simon Sinek thing, right? It's people don't buy what you do, they buy how you or why you do it, right? And if you have a purpose behind what you're doing, whether it's, like I said, whether it's an event or like just if you're giving a portion of every transaction to whatever, there's plenty of ways to do it. But if there's a reason behind it, and if there's some sort of just purpose that people can get behind, they're going to champion you all the way. They're going to talk about you. They're going to refer you because that feels good to people, right? It's not just, hey, Chris sells houses and he might be really great at it, which he is, but at the same time, hey, there's another thing that's backing it up. And I love when people put that into their real estate business, because it just expands so much. And so many people want to give in some way, but we can be that connector of dots to show them, what's needed in the community, and be just a champion for that. And so I love that you're doing that. So that's amazing. So let's just say like everything fell apart and you had to start completely all over. Your entire team quit. No business coming in. What would Chris do first to start? What's the tactical thing Chris would do to restart his business today?
Yeah, when you're starting this, when you're starting a team, this stuff comes into your mind, right? That's out there. So there's a couple of good books that kind of speak directly to this, right? Number one, Doing the Right Thing, which is 7 Levels of Communication. I absolutely love that book, right? That's just doing the right things, making sure you're taking care of clients the right way, and really building that connection, between you and them. That's out there. And then they follow that up actually with the Miracle Morning for real estate agents. That's out there, which is another great book, right? And it talks about his team falling apart and what you have to do to get things going. So, the biggest thing on our team all the time is we're always talking about how can we get, and we track this every single Monday in our Monday morning meetings. We're always going over how many contacts did you get for the week? 2-way conversations did you have, right? That was out there. How many appointments did you set? How many deals did you end up getting done, right? So we're always taking a look at that. That's in there. So if I had to restart my whole business over again, like if you were just going to drop me off somewhere in the middle of a new city and I was out there, a couple things I would do. And I built my business honestly kind of off of online leads from our company, which the place that I work for is called the MLS Online. That's out there. So absolutely fantastic name here in the Twin Cities, get a lot of traffic, right? So I would try to figure out, number one, do I have some budget to build some online leads, right? That's out there, because that's always a good place to start, right? And then if I had to do something for free, I would go start somewhere where I could find open houses to go to. That's there. And I would do those as much as somebody would let me. If I could do 2 or 3 of them on a weekend, 4 of them on a weekend, if I could fit it into the schedule, I absolutely would. Because there's always people coming in, and there's nothing better than that face-to-face interaction where you get to talk to somebody. And yeah, maybe that's not the right house for them, right? But you get to build a little bit of a relationship. And we got some awesome things that we've been doing this year too, especially with COVID and stuff like that. Some of our clients have said we only have one set of people in the house at a time. So we throw up a QR code right on the outside of the house, and we let them know that, say, hey, seller only wants one set of people in the house at a time. They have to register on a Google form. They got to give us their name, phone number, and email. And we just say, we're going to try to cycle people in and out inside of 5 minutes, and we'll call you when it's your turn. So people come there and we get their cell phone number, which is pretty awesome, right? That's out there. So that'd be the way that I'm really trying to build my business. And there's nothing better than trying to educate yourself and make sure that you're able to have the conversations that you need to when somebody asks you. And there's nothing wrong if you're a newer agent and you say, hey, I don't know, but I'm going to get you the answer to that, right? And you just follow up with them, right? Because that's all you're going to build, that know you, like you, trust you, right? You don't have to know everything. There's still things I don't know today after being in the business for 18 years where I got to call my sales manager who's been in it longer than me and ask him questions. And he's like, hey, that's a good question. I'm not even sure. I better check around first, right?
Right. Right. So you mentioned online leads, you mentioned open houses. Where is the bulk of your business coming from right now? Would it be those two things? Is it more referral based?
Yep, for our newer agents, I would say a good chunk of their business is going to come from our online leads and then their personal sphere, right? We're always trying to build off the personal sphere because those are already people that they know us, they like us, they trust us, right? They see us. And if we can start layering that in with educating them about what the market looks like, how you have to win an offer in today's market, just anything that you can think of around real estate, right? And we even have our brand new agents on the team shoot videos around this stuff, right? We kind of help them, show them some articles, have them go to a lot of their, for inspections with their clients so that they can really talk and educate people on what this is going to look like. And the more professional we can look in front of our friends and family that's out there and anybody else who might be catching some of our social media stuff that we have, it just all the better. So, 70, 80% of our business is all repeat and referral clients, and we're very thankful to be in that position. But we're just like any brand new agent as well. We always have to go over, we always have to be after that new percentage of business that's out there, because we know we have a lot of competition from places like Zillow or whoever's out there, realtor.com, any of the websites like mine that are out there from the boom towns and conversion, whatever it is, right? They're all after our same clients that's there. So the big thing that we try to focus on is staying in front of our personal clients, especially ones that we've done business with, to make sure that if they have a real estate question, they're coming to us, right? They're not getting hit by all these other sites. And maybe they are, but hopefully they come to us first because we're staying in front of them.
That's right. Let's talk about systems. What systems do you have in place with the team, whether it's CRM, anything like that? Like, what are you guys using to run your business from beginning to end?
Yeah, we one of the biggest things, and Tom Ferry says it all the time too, right, is that the best CRM you're going to use is the one you're using, right? So me, when I first started out, it was literally my spreadsheets that I was using on people, right? Like, what do I need to do? Have we been out with them? Are they under contract? Where are they at, right? To try to keep everybody involved on that. And then we eventually started going to some different systems, and we've ended up landing at Boomtown is where we're at right now for our CRM. It's an awesome system that we use. That's out there, and you certainly don't have to pay for any of these. And the best system, like everybody says, is the one that you're going to use, right, and stick with. That's out there. And once you get the budget set up for it, then it's like, okay, let's start spending some money on some of these different types of systems that are out there. But Boomtown's been great for us. You get to track when people are on your website. We send them into, like our triple line dialer that we use, which is Mojo. And we use that for circle dialing neighborhoods, whether we have a listing in there, we have a buyer that's looking to move to a certain area. We circle dial around properties that have had multiple offers where they put the notes into the MLS. So things like that, it really kind of using the free stuff that we have too. So we've got another great system, which a lot of realtors do throughout the United States, which is called Remine, where you can kind of go in and see who the hot sellers might be for an area, stuff like that, right? That's out there. So it's just kind of using a little bit of everything to make sure that we can provide the best service to our clients.
Out of all those things you just mentioned, what would be your favorite lead source? Like, if you had to pick one, what's your favorite?
Honestly, my favorite lead source, I got to bring myself all the way back to when I was doing open houses still, and I don't do them anymore. That was the best spot for me, right? Because it's where you get to showcase yourself and you get to meet somebody brand new, right? So, you got a hot prospect because it's like somebody just walked in and they're saying, "Hey, I'm interested." Whether or not they told you that, they just took the time out of their day on a Saturday or Sunday to walk into your open house.
Yeah.
And start looking around, right? So it was where you get to try to work on your relationship building that was there, because that's exactly what you need to do. You have a very short amount of time. Sometimes I only had a client in the house for 3, 4, 5 minutes, especially if they didn't like it. They were in and out of there, right? And I was trying to get their phone number any way that I possibly could. So that is by far the number one way that I would like to get somebody is from open houses. And the second way that everybody likes to do business is from our repeat referral clients, which we've done a good job staying in front of our clients, making them feel appreciated, right? That's out there. So, and doing the customer appreciation events and really just making sure that we're touching base with them, whether it's, their birthdays, anniversaries. And we really try to connect with everybody on social media too, right? Because this is a quick, easy way. And we like to do things a little bit different. We don't always like to just on Facebook post and say, "Hey, happy birthday." Like, I tell our agents on the team and just say, "Hey, send them a private message on there and just say, 'Hey, happy birthday.'" Because it's something different. It makes you stand out just a little bit, right? That's out there. So it's just those little small tweaks that we do to really kind of try to stay as personable as you can.
Where do you spend your marketing dollars outside of Boomtown and Mojo? What else are you spending money on?
I think the biggest thing that we spend our money on is our customer appreciation events. That's out there. Like I've got one admin who's full time on the team. She's basically our operations manager. She could run the whole team. So if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I'd be happy with her running the business for the next couple months while I'm recovering. That's out there. And we have a part-time marketing lady who helps us out. She helps us with our Facebook. She's trying to get us going on Instagram right now because we know that's a very good lead source right now for most people. That's out there. So we spend our money there. And then, we do mailings as well to clients. The biggest thing that we probably send consistently out is just looking for homes that aren't on the market right now. That are out there. So we go back and we look, 3, 4, 5 years ago for houses that have sold. We know they appreciated enough to where they'll have some equity in their home to be able to buy that next one and pay a realtor, right? That's involved. That's, in the process that's there. So what we do for them is we end up just doing a quick little letter. We usually do 2 into the areas that we're looking for our clients. So we kind of figure out where they're looking, the neighborhoods that they're looking at. We'll send a letter out to them saying, "Hey, we've got a client. Here's a little bit about them." You can call it an appreciation letter because love letters are maybe a little bit tainted these days for what we can and can't do in some states. That's out there. We still are able to send them here in Minnesota. That's out there. And then we follow that up with a generic pre-approval letter as well. So we let the seller know, "Hey, we actually have real people that are looking for houses. And number 2, here's a pre-approval letter. So we'd really like to come take a look at your house to see if this is an option." So we've had some pretty great success from that. Not quite 20%. Like they say, everything in life is 80-20. And we're probably closer to 10% response rate on that. And out of that 10%, there's probably, 50% of them people where it's going to be a good match for our clients because we've already narrowed down the area and how many bedrooms and bathrooms and the style of home that they're looking for.
That's awesome. What's the makeup of the team? I know you mentioned buyer's agents assistant. And your marketing maybe assistant. Is that the entire team? How many people on the team right now?
Yeah. So we've got 5 other agents. So there's 6 of us that are selling. We basically have our admin operations manager, my assistant. She kind of wears every hat you can possibly put on somebody in real estate. That's out there. I'd probably drive her nuts. So thank you, Sherry. That's out there. And then we have Lindsay on the team who does the marketing that's there. So I think we're in a very good spot right now where we might be able to add maybe another 5 to 8 agents or so. And then it's like, we're going to have to probably hire a transaction coordinator next is kind of the plan from there.
Okay. And how many deals are you going to do this year?
So me personally, I'm hoping to do somewhere kind of around that 15 to 20 range. I'm trying to do less and less every single year that I'm in the business. That's out there. And I primarily do the list side of the business right now. But for all the agents on the team, we're pushing for anywhere from, some of our newer agents are looking for, like only 10 deals. And then some of our more seasoned agents are pushing for about 25. that's out there. So, it's been a year for sure. Our inventory has been very low, like most areas throughout the United States that's out there. The good thing that we've seen in the market right now is that we're not seeing quite as many offers coming in on properties that's out there, and we're still seeing multiple offers. Don't get me wrong, especially when you're pricing these properties right. So, I think we'd be very happy this year if we started pushing that kind of 110 to 120 range with the agents that we have. And there's one agent on the team who's part-time, that's out there too. So there's kind of, 5 of us that are selling full-time.
Awesome. And so since you're, just to kind of close this up, since you're, super team leader, you've been at this for a while, you kind of scratched your way into it, right? You built a team from an assistant up to now an additional 5 agents on the team. What would you tell somebody who's maybe in the position of wanting to start a team or needing to start a team because they're just, they're doing 37 deals themselves and they're just kind of running themselves ragged or whatever it is? What would you kind of give as far as a tactical just advice to someone who's needing to build a team right now?
I think the biggest thing is just figuring out what does this whole process look like, right? Which, like, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent did for me. It kind of helped me say, okay, here's the vision, here's where we're going to go with this. And then I think the biggest thing for me was going from, I need to hire somebody who's going to be an expense to I'm going to hire somebody who's going to be an investment, right? In the business that was there. And I think that was the biggest mindset change for me, right? Like, everything I do, it's like, is an investment, right? That we make. It's all in financial investment. Yes, some of them have burned me big time that we've been on, right? Like, lost tens of thousands of dollars on certain marketing programs that we did. But, we play the red light, green light game that they talk about in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right? And it's like, always make sure you have the budget. And it's so much easier to make that decision knowing that you're financially prepared for it. That's out there. So I think that's been the absolute best thing that we've ever done, is just preparing, number one, mentally, to figure out what this plan looks like, the process, and setting goals around that. Like, everything we do, we want to figure out, okay, what's our investment and what's our time frame? It's the SMART goals that you always talk about with us, right? Making sure it's specific, measurable, attainable, all that stuff, right? Realistic, that's out there. And then making sure that if we're not making money after 6 months, it's like, okay, can we tweak things, or do we really need to get rid of that? And sometimes we implement some really good things in this business, and we just didn't have the time to properly, spend enough attention and time on it to make it work. But it's something that we still need to cut out at that time to make sure that our business is going to be profitable. And then, I think the other biggest thing for me in the business has been this book that was called Profit First. I'm not sure if you've read that or not, but it's basically like the Dave Ramsey for business, right? That's out there. And it's like, as soon as a check comes in, you split it up into these different accounts. Like, it comes into a revenue account that hopefully is always zero balance, because on the, the 1st and the 15th or whatever month, you go in there and you spread things out into 5 different accounts that you end up paying yourself. That's probably been the biggest thing to help me, because then I knew that in my operating account, I always had the money that I needed to pay my employees that we've got, had the money to pay for the rent for our office building, anything that we were doing, right? And it was like, once that's built up to a certain amount, you have enough to pay for yourself. You have your savings that's in there. You have your tax account that's set up in there. This business gets a lot easier to be able to make the right decisions that's there. So I think that's probably my top 2 things that I would say.
I love it. Heck, so many nuggets today. I mean, whoever's watching this needs to go back 3, 4, 5 times and watch this, because you just gave so much information for people to, from even just new agent to team leader or potential team leader. There's a ton here that you just imparted on us. So I appreciate that. And it's been amazing reconnecting with you. So I appreciate it. And, hopefully we'll be getting back together soon and do some more of this. How about that?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man.
If you'd like to contact Chris or have a referral to the Twin Cities, Minnesota area, please contact Chris and his team.